Welcome to Math 20 Video Lecture Series. Ang title ng lesson natin ay Tada! Part 2. Okay. At the end of this lecture, a student will be able to determine the cosine and sine function values of a real number. Okay. So let's have a short recap nung last lesson natin. So, yung point function, yun lang naman yung pinag-usapan natin last meeting, which we denote by P. It is a function from R to R cross R, and it sends a real number theta to a point P of theta, which has x coordinates x and y coordinate y on the unit circle. So, yung P of theta nasa unit circle. P of theta is a point, ang x coordinate ay x, ang y coordinate ay y. And actually, meron tayong tawag dyan sa x and y coordinates ng point function. So, if P of theta is xy, dinidefine natin tong mga bagay na to. The x coordinate, ito yun, siya yung tinatawag nating cosine of theta. Sinusulat natin as cos theta. While the y coordinate y, siya yung sin theta. Okay, huwag kayong matakot kasi tawag lang ito. Pangalan lang nila ito. So, if you have p theta, yung x coordinate, that is the cosine of theta. Yung y coordinate, that is the sine of theta. So, let's do some example. Okay. So, bago yung example pala, sinusulat din natin yung p of theta as, instead na xy, sinusulat din natin siya as cosine theta, comma, sine of theta. Okay, so let us do this example. So, yung first example, we know that p of 0 is 1, 0. So, using these definitions, cosine of 0 and sine of 0, cosine of 0 is the first coordinate, which is 1, or the x coordinate. Sine of 0, yun yung y coordinate, which is 0. Okay? Okay, how about p of pi over 2? So, from our previous lecture, ang p of pi over 2 is 0, 1. So, cosine pi over 2, that is the x-coordinate, which is 0, and sine pi over 2 equal to the y-coordinate, 1. Okay? Okay, so let us give some properties of this point function. So, yung domain niya, kumukuha tayo sa mga real numbers. And lahat ng real numbers pwede. So, meaning, its domain is the set of real numbers. And, from the definition of the point function, anong sabi niya? It sends theta to p of theta. And that p of theta is on the unit circle. So, meaning, the range of this point function is the set of points xy such that x squared plus y squared equal to 1. Set of points such that nasa unit circle. Okay, let us discuss some more properties. Ito yung mga fundamental properties na halos araw-araw nating magagamit when studying trigonometry. So, examples. So, what is p of theta, tapos nag-add ka ng 2 pi. So, let's say, this is our unit circle. Hindi perfect. Ulit. Let's say, this is our unit circle. And you have your theta somewhere, right? So, kapag nag-add ka ng 2 pi sa theta, babalik ka lang dun sa original point. Kapag nag-subtract ka naman ng 2 pi, babalik ka rin doon sa original point. So, this means, pag nag-add ka ng 2 pi sa theta or nag-subtract ka ng 2 pi sa theta, you still get P of theta. And pwede pa natin yung i-generalize. So, kahit magdagdag ka ng kahit ilang 2 pi na gusto mo, dun sa endpoint pa rin na yun ikaw babalik. Or kahit mag-subtract ka ng mga 2 pi, dun ka pa rin sa point na yun magfo-fall. Okay, so ibig sabihin, for any integer z, pag inad mo yung 2 pi, any integer k in z, pag inad mo yung 2 pi k sa theta, you still get P of theta. At yung mga implications nito ay yung cosine ng theta plus minus 2 pi is cosine theta. Ganun din kay sine. Kahit magbawas or magsubtract ka ng 2 pi, still get a sine theta. At kahit ilang 2 pi pa yung idagdag or ibawas mo doon sa theta, hindi nagbabago yung value ng cosine at saka ng sine. So, yung reason for that is, so, balikan natin tong property na ito. Let's say, itong property na lang. Okay. So, from here, anong ibig sabihin nito? Sabihin yan, itong part na to is, this is cosine of theta plus 2 pi k, comma, sine of theta plus 2 pi k. And P of theta, sabi natin, that is cosine of theta, comma, sine of theta. Okay, so two coordinates are equal. So, dapat equal yung corresponding x coordinate at yung y coordinate. That's why we have cosine of theta plus 2 pi k equal to cosine of theta, which is precisely this, and sine plus 2 pi k equal to sine of theta equal to each other. So, which is precisely ito yan. Okay? And yung next property natin is how do we relate this sine theta and cosine theta. So, ulit, sabi natin, P of theta is cosine theta, comma, sine of theta. Tapos, itong point raw na ito ay nasa unit circle, but the equation of the unit circle is x squared plus y squared equal to 1. So, itong point na to satisfies this equation. So, pag pinalitan ko si x by cosine theta and y by sine theta, mag-hold pa rin ito. So, that is cosine theta and then you square it plus sine of theta, you square it equal to 1. And, notation lang, pag nakita natin ito, yung cosine theta raised to n, sinusulat din natin siya as yung cosine raised to n theta. Ganun din for sine. Okay. So, that's why ito is the same as, if we follow the notation, cosine square theta plus sine square theta equal to 1. So, property number 2, cosine square theta plus sine square theta equal to 1. Okay? And last important property, titingnan natin kung positive or negative yung cosine theta at sine theta. Depending kung saang quadrant nagfo-fall yung P of theta. So, in our first row here, let's say P of theta is in quadrant 1. So, sabi natin sa quadrant 1, the x coordinates and the y coordinates are positive. So, meaning, cosine of theta is positive and sine of theta is also positive. In quadrant 2, negative si x, positive si y. In quadrant 3, parehang negative yung x, negative yung y. In quadrant 4, positive si x, negative si y. Okay? So, in quadrants 1 and 4, cosine is positive. In quadrants 2 and 3, in quadrants 1 and 2, sine is positive. Okay, malinaw ba yan? So, let us do some examples making use of these properties. Okay, number 3. Which quadrant does P of theta lie? Nasang quadrant daw siya? So, let us draw our x and y axis. P of theta is a point on the unit circle. Tatandaan nyo, P for point. Okay. So, what do we mean by pi? Sabi natin si pi, kalahati siya ng unit circle. So, you over 4 means you divide that by 4. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, we have 4 divisions. So, saan yung mga divisions na yon? 1, 2, 3, 4. And sabi nung 3 dito, ibig sabihin nun, you take 3 of them. So, since 3 pi over 4 is positive, magsisimula tayo sa 1, 0, counterclockwise. Tapos kukunin natin yung 3 parts. 1, 2, 3. So, we end up here. And this is in quadrant 2. Okay. So, nasa quadrant 2 siya. Answer here is quadrant 2. Okay, let's do the next example. Letter B. So, drawing ulit tayo. Ay. Okay, so in this case, we have 7 pi over 6. So, it means si pi hatiin sa 6, kumuha ng 7. So, this is our pi hatiin sa 6. So, asan yung divisions na yon? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, from here to here, 6 na yon, kulang pa tayo ng isa para maging 7 pi over 6. So, gawa pa tayo ng isa and divided by 6. Okay? So, saan tayo magpo-fall? Sabi natin, nagsa-start to sa 1, 0, counterclockwise kasi positive. And you take 7 of this, pi over 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, siya ay nasa quadrant 3. Okay, so this is in quadrant 3. Okay, let's do some, etong huling example natin dun sa pag-determine ng quadrant. P of negative 4. So, first time natin makita na walang pi. Pero okay lang kahit wala tayong nakikitang pi. We will do some tansya-tansya. Okay, so it's negative. Negative 4 is negative. So, ang pag-trace natin is clockwise. So, ang tanong, gaano kalaki ba yung 4 na iyan? Or yung negative 4 na iyan? So, kung magsa-start tayo dito and we end up here, this is pi, diba sabi natin? Ang haba nito is pi. And pi is approximately equal to 3.14. This is actually negative pi. So, approximately equal to negative 3.14. Okay, pag umikot pa tayo dito, yung haba nito is ang haba nito is negative 3 pi over 2, which is approximately negative 4 point something. Okay, Okay, 4 point something yun. Ang tanong, nasaan si negative 4? So, kung iikot tayo, dapat lampas siya dito sa negative 3.14, pero hindi siya lalampas dito sa negative 4 point something. Kasi yung negative 4, somewhere, nasa pagitan nito tsaka nito. So, ang sagot dyan, nasa quadrant 2 si P of negative 4. Okay, so this is in quadrant 2. Okay, more examples tayo. So we have here, sine theta is 3/4. P of theta is in quadrant 2. So, pinapahanap niya sa'yo si cosine theta. So, isa lang naman yung equation natin that relates sine theta and cosine theta. That is, cosine square theta plus sine square theta equal to 1. So, pa-plug in lang natin si sine theta dyan to get cosine of theta. Okay. So, ano yan? Sine is 3/4. So, we get 3/4 square equal to 1. So, this is 9/16 equal to 1. Lipat sa kabila, that's 1 minus 9/16. So, cosine square is 16 minus 9/16. Or, and this is 7/16. Tapos, take the square root of both sides. So, may plus minus kasi nagsa-square root tayo on both sides. So, we get plus minus square root of 7 over square root of 16 is 4. So, we have two candidates for the value of cosine. But cosine, function iyan. So, isa lang dapat yung nilalabas ng value. So, kailangan nating mag-decide. So, makakapag-decide tayo using this condition that P of theta is in quadrant 2. So, let us draw our x and y axis. So, this is quadrant 1. Quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. So, nasa quadrant 2 daw si P of theta. So, this is P of theta, which is cosine theta, sine of theta. O, nasa quadrant 2 tayo. So, yung x-coordinates natin doon ay negative. So, cosine must be negative. So, in this case, cosine is negative square root of 7 over 4 kasi dalawa na lang naman yung candidates natin. So, yung isang positive, isang negative. But, yung restriction dun sa P of theta, binigay sa atin kung positive or negative si cosine. In this case, negative si cosine. That's why, pinili natin si negative square root of 7 over 4. So, cosine of theta is negative square root of 7 over 4. And let's have a short recap nung ginawa natin today. So, yung point function na may coordinates na x and y, yung x doon tinatawag natin cosine of theta, yung y we call it sine of theta. And we also write P of theta as cosine theta, sine of theta. And the domain of the point function is the set of real numbers. The range of the point function is the set of points on the unit circle, or the set of points x, y, such that x squared plus y squared equal to 1. And for the properties, P of theta plus 2 pi k equal to P of theta. So, ang ibig sabihin nito ulit, kahit magdagdag or magbawas ka ng kahit ilang 2 pi, integer multiple ni 2 pi, still get P of theta. And the same rule applies for cosine and sine. And one important equation that we learned for today, the equation that relates cosine and sine theta is cosine square theta plus sine square theta equal to 1. And depending on the location of P of theta on the unit circle, nag-iiba-iba yung signs ng cosine theta and sine of theta depending doon sa quadrant, as summarized by this table. And that ends our lecture for today. Sana naiintindihan ninyo. In our next episode, we will discuss the point function values of pi over 4, pi over 3, and pi over 6. Goodbye and take care. Pabebeng malala.